An Australian Archbishop has been found guilty of covering up child sex abuse in the church in the 1970s. Archbishop Philip Wilson from Adelaide is convicted of concealing the abuse of altar boys by a pedophile priest in New South Wales. The verdict makes Wilson the most senior Catholic official in the world to face conviction for such a charge. He's expected to receive his sentence in June. That is a maximum jail term of 2 years. An Australian inquiry found last year that 7% of all Catholic priests working in the country between 1950 and 2010 had been accused of child sex crimes. This comes amid revelations worldwide that Catholic officials have for decades protected pedophile priests by concealing their child sex offences. Joining us live now from Ontario is Jason Unruhe, who is a political commentator and analyst. Jason, what do you make of this entire scandal? It seems to now be coming to a head with this quite senior official being held to account.
I think this particular situation is a good step. Finally, one of the people who have been covering up these kinds of abuses is being brought to justice. I would not hesitate to say that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people in the Catholic Church who are guilty of covering up abuses against children like this. And for one of these individuals to be taken to a court of law and to be convicted of the crimes that they helped cover up is certainly a significant step forward in trying to get some kind of justice for the people who have been victimized by priests in this particular situation. I mean, the Catholic Church has a very long history of covering up the crimes that is committed against children, moving priests to other places, paying off others to keep quiet, or in a general history of just pretending that the problem doesn't exist to begin with. So this is a significant step forward in bringing to light this problem, which is very widespread. As the story said, 7% of the priests, at least in Australia, have committed some kind of crime, and this is something that's by no means limited to Australia, but the entire world. I remember when the priest that I had when I was going to school ended up being up on charges just like this. So it's definitely a global problem, and I think it's very great that the Australian government has decided to take one of these people to task, to take them to a court of law and put them before a jury or prosecute them for the crimes that they helped cover up.
Do you think, Jason, that the Vatican / the Pope are really going to take all this lying down? Because we already remember the controversy about the Pope's visit to Chile and him defending a priest there who had been accused of exactly the same thing that this Archbishop is being accused of as well. Do you think that the Vatican's ready for this sort of accountability?
Well, that's a hard question to answer. I definitely think that the Church will end up defending the priests in a very general sense, because it's the thing where they can't admit culpability. They can't admit that there's a problem, because then that would make them liable to compensation to the people that they victimized. But on the other hand, they can't deny that these crimes have happened, and to simply act as though none of this has ever happened would be something that is simply politically unacceptable. There is no one in the right mind who can possibly deny the crimes that have been carried out by the Catholic Church. So I think what we're going to see the Vatican do is walk a very careful line between the two, while acknowledging that these things happen, try to whitewash them to some degree, or try to minimize them. In a manner of speaking, trying to save face from these crimes that they have been committed. They can't wholly defend the fact they've happened, nor can they deny that they've happened either, but they also can't admit full culpability for what's happened because of fears over liability.
Very well, Jason. We'll leave there at that, but of course, as always, we appreciate your sharing your insight with us.